Let me introduce this session. So Jugaad, it's a Hindi word actually. So it's a Hindi word from India that means finding a low-cost solution to a problem in an intelligent way. And really, I mean, you can type this into the internet and you'll see all sorts of marvelous stories come up and all sorts of marvelous pictures. And it is worth noting down the name and having a look at it. It's a lot of fun. But really, it's about an attitude of mind. And I think it's an attitude of mind that can really help us all with sustainable technologies and a sustainable future. But before I talk about this and how it works in my company, how it works in the developing world, I'll give you a little bit of context about myself and my company, because I think that will help you understand where I'm coming from on this particular subject. So that's me. I work for Mahindra. Now, I've been in IT, and I'm coming from an IT perspective. I've been working in IT for 35 years now. I know I don't look old enough, but genuinely I have. And I've worked in a number of different industries. I started off in retail in the UK. I then went to work in Namibia and South Africa for De Beers doing diamond mining. Now in Namibia, that was a place where you needed to be sustainable. I can tell you, certainly in the 1980s when I was there. I then came back and I spent 5 years in Paris, 5 years in Geneva in the financial sector. And then around 2000, I discovered Indian IT. My company was outsourcing to India. I went there for the first time in 2000. And it was a marvelous experience. I mean, how many people in the room have been to India? Yeah, a good smattering. A lot of people have now. Right? It's become a lot more mainstream, particularly with some industries. And I thought it was a marvelous place. The first thing that struck me as a European going to India back then was that you could always get anything fixed. There was a shop to fix anything. Yeah. In the West, we throw away our toaster, right? Almost throw away the car now if the electronics go, right? In India, you can get anything fixed anytime. And some of that is about this Jugaad state of mind, yeah? There's always a way to fix it. There's always a workaround to do that. So anyway, I ended up outsourcing a lot of IT to India. And about a year or so later, I joined Mahindra. So Mahindra are part of the Mahindra group. Quite a big Indian conglomerate, you'll see from the stats there. Most famous for making tractors, actually, probably one of the largest tractor manufacturers in the world. And within that, there's this IT company, Mahindra. And what attracted me to Indian IT back then in 2000 was this attitude, this can-do type of attitude. Always gets things done. Completely refreshing compared to the UK at that particular time. And that was one of the reasons why we went to India. One was the access to the resources, the skilled resources, and there was a cost arbitrage as well. But really, it was about that enthusiastic mindset. That kind of mindset where the company, when I joined them, was 6,000, they're now 95,000 people. The kind of company that now delivers like the software for the FIFA World Cup, both in South Africa and Brazil. So that's where I've come from. So you can see I'm a kind of an outsider for Jugaad, but with an insider's kind of view to this. And I want to give you some thoughts on that. So back to Jugaad. I mean, I think, as I was saying, it's I think it's an attitude of mind. And this attitude of mind says that the glass is half full, not half empty. Yeah? It's always an optimistic mindset. And it's a mindset that says anything's possible. Let's challenge things. Let's try and do things differently. Let's do things with less, which is what we need in the future. Yeah, I mean, it's not confined to India. I think you find this. There's a word for it in India, and there's certainly a whole lot of culture around it. But you find this in any developing country where there's a need. You find a way to do things. So for example, I know in Kenya there's examples where they can charge their mobile phone while they're riding their bike, yeah, connected to their push bike. Yeah. In the Philippines, this is a great example. In the next photograph there, this is a kind of a liter of, like a Coke bottle with a bit of bleach in it in water, reflects the sunlight coming in. It's an impromptu light bulb in the shack, right? Always a way of doing things with what you've got in hand. And I think, coming back to this thing, this is one of the kind of the signs you'll see in India. Yeah, you can do anything, even alchemy, right? Why not? Get on there, do it. If you've got the right attitude of mind, you can do anything. So I think this attitude and this approach of making do with less, finding a way around things, is going to be important, because the developing world, as the word says, is developing, and it's developing very, very quickly. Yeah? And like India will be probably the third largest economy in the world by 2020, by some estimates. That's a huge number of people all wanting more things. Now, so to be sustainable, we've got to do things differently. We've got to have this different approach. Now, so Jugaad's there. People are operating. In our company, we operate it all the time. We use it as a source of innovation. We have internal challenges. We have better ways of doing things. There was a great example recently. There was a hospital bed that was developed in the United States, cost about $4,000 per bed. Our guys will strip it down, do it differently, different material. Not exactly the same quality, but does the same job for just a couple of $100. Yeah? And that kind of attitude's there all the time, and working as we see things. But what's happening now is, again, if you type Jugaad into the internet, you'll see management books written on this. Yeah, I mean, it's mainstream now. This isn't a new concept, and I think this will develop further. And what we're seeing from my perspective in my company is that you'll see us taking this approach and kind of molding the traditional Jugaad approach with some Western philosophies as well. I mean, in the West, we are very good at structured development, structured innovation. We test things to bits, right? We're very good at that kind of thing. So if you can start to merge those kind of things, and this just is a picture of, this is a fridge made out of clay. So an Indian potter's taken the design of a Western fridge. He says, I don't really need electricity here. If I get it cool enough, I can do it like this. Yeah. So they're taking this kind of approach, and this is called a mitti cool. Very popular in India, very low cost. Shows you can do things with less. But if we can take that attitude and say, here's Google, all right? We all know Google. Now Google will test 40, 50 shades of blue to get exactly the right thing on their logo. In a Jugaad situation, you'd never do that. You just go with the first one and get it out there and try. But somewhere between the two, if you can combine these two approaches, I think there's some great rewards for all of us. So this is developing further. I think we'll all see more of it. I think we've all got to make do with less. And so, in conclusion, I'll go back to this slide. I think we can all be alchemists, yeah? We can all make this happen if we approach it with the right mindset.